Good morning. It's Monday, May 30th. I'm World Watch reporter Kristen Flavin. Whether you're home or away, we hope you'll have a chance to take a break and take some time to turn your thoughts to the meaning of Memorial Day. Today is a holiday honoring those who died in service to the branches of our military, the Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, and the Coast Guard. Memorial Day is always observed on the last Monday in May, and it honors fallen soldiers, specifically the men and women who died while in the service and in combat. It got its start in the years following the Civil War and officially became a federal holiday in 1971. People usually mark Memorial Day with family gatherings and parades, but the holiday is one of much more significance than merely marking the official beginning of summer, and many people will spend time visiting cemeteries or memorials to the fallen. At Arlington National Cemetery in our nation's capital, hundreds of thousands of graves are decorated with single small American flags placed exactly 1 boot length in front of grave markers. It's a yearly tradition at the cemetery known as Flags In. Arlington National Cemetery is the nation's largest military burial site. Its 639 acres of land is the resting place for over 400,000 soldiers and their families who served in wars dating all the way back to the Civil War. Perhaps the most recognized tomb at the cemetery, though, is the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. The tomb stands as a monument dedicated to every fallen U.S. soldier who has not been identified. On Memorial Day in 1921, the bodies of 4 unidentified soldiers who served in World War I were exhumed from American cemeteries in France, and 1 was chosen to lay in the tomb. Did you know that just 1 week ago was also a Memorial Day? National Maritime Day is often called the Memorial Day of the Merchant Marine. It's appropriate to pause today to also remember the losses among those who served on all sorts of cargo and transport vessels, especially during World War II. When we say Marine, we don't mean in the soldier sense, we mean Marine in the ocean-going sense. The Merchant Marine is made up of civilians working aboard civilian ships, but during World War II, they were a key part of the war effort, and they suffered a higher casualty rate than any of the military branches. Merchant mariners were prepared to use their skills and equipment worldwide to aid in defending freedom.
An American convoy underway on the high seas with urgently needed cargoes for our fighting men on distant battlefronts.
President Franklin Delano Roosevelt declared them to be the nation's 4th arm of defense.
Now, as never before, experienced men are needed to return to sea. Our ships need experienced men of all kinds: mates, engineers, able-bodied seamen, radio telegraphers, cooks, bakers, messmen.
They were essential to fighting an overseas war. They were responsible for carrying everything from tanks, weapons, and ammunition to fuel, food, and boots.
Ships brought these guns across. It takes ships to keep them firing. And it takes ships to keep them flying. It takes ships to keep them fighting.
They were also responsible for safely transporting troops across the ocean. Historians point out that the merchant mariners were actually the first to go to war. Even before the U.S. had officially entered the war, merchant ships were being captured and sunk. Through the course of World War II, 243,000 mariners served. Of those, 9,521 died while serving the country. And it's a good reminder that none of the merchant mariners were required or drafted to go to sea. They were all volunteers, civilians who could have had safer jobs at home during the booming wartime economy. Today, we still have the Merchant Marine to thank for international humanitarian efforts. In 2010, they were the ones delivering aid to Haiti after a historic earthquake. They also supported international efforts to stop the spread of Ebola in West Africa. And of course, they serve on the home front too. They were on the scene within days following Hurricanes Katrina and Rita in 2005. Before that, though, they participated in one of the largest maritime evacuations in history. Immediately after the terrorists struck the World Trade Centers on September 11, 2001, every workboat and ferry in the area joined forces to shuttle people away from the city. That was after city officials closed every subway, bridge, and tunnel. That day, U.S. merchant mariners transported more than 300,000 people to safety. Today, the Merchant Marine is finally getting credit where credit is due. But for nearly 40 years, the wartime efforts of the Merchant Marine went largely unrecognized. It wasn't until 1988 that they were granted the same status as other military service veterans. And just a couple weeks ago, on May 18th, they were awarded the Congressional Gold Medal during a ceremony at the U.S. Capitol 2 years after former President Trump signed it into law. 10 World War II veterans of the U.S. Merchant Marine were in attendance at the ceremony to accept the award on behalf of all the U.S. merchant mariners that served at that time.
Victory in the Second World War came at a high price for America and for our allies. But the U.S. Merchant Marine paid far, far more than its share.
On behalf of Congress and all Americans, I'm honored to present the Congressional Gold Medal to the Merchant Mariners of World War II in recognition of their bravery and outstanding service. In accepting this award on behalf of your compatriots, you bring luster to this award because of your service.
Thanks for watching. I'm Kristen Flavin.